than Socrates from South Africa. He's a big Manchester United fan, so let's get his thoughts too on all things United, and of course Manchester. David Moyes, the manager. So Socrates, what are your feelings then ahead of what's been a pretty bad few days for Manchester United? How do you feel going into this weekend?
First, thanks for having me on the show. Glad to be a part of it. It's a tough time to be a United supporter after the so many years of having a good time. Going into the weekend, it's almost a bit of a mixed emotions because, obviously being a Man United fan since 1983, I want them to do well and win every game. But you almost feel that results that go in David Moyes' favour almost find a failed execution, which I think is not the man for the job. And my point that I'd like to get across is why do you guys and the majority of the media in England, in the press, in the tabloids, giving such an easy ride? If he was a foreigner, he would have been slated by now, he would have probably lost his job. And it doesn't matter what nationality you are, he's just not up to the job. And we complain with players like we have done and stated, and we say Rio's legs are gone and Evra's legs are gone, but the bottom line is these players have won the league by 11 points. The Liverpool players were almost the same as they are last year. The United players were the same as they were last year. The difference is the manager. So surely the blame falls on one man's shoulders, and that's David Moyes. His record at Manchester United this year is worse than was at Everton last year for the same amount of games played. So why do we still keep giving him an easy ride when he's clearly not the man for the job?
Yeah, well, I for one, listen, I have no axe to grind with Manchester United. I'm not a Manchester United fan as such, but look, if you think about it, all the changes that's gone on above his head at boardroom level, you've got, of course, David Gill going at the same time as he comes in. That's clearly not part of David Moyes' reckoning. The money that's been handed to him, you could, I suppose, bring that down to the owners and the Glazers and say maybe, look, listen, have the purse strings been loosened as much as he would have liked initially?
I totally agree with Socrates. Like, I can't believe, Socrates, you've maybe been watching the show, but I totally agree with everything you said. I think it is down to David Moyes. He has to take responsibility for it. I know you're sort of talking, Benice makes a good point about the board level, but David Moyes is in control of what goes on that football pitch. And the point is that he hasn't got out what he should be getting out of that team. Now, Socrates is right. Championship winning team, absolutely. But we recognise that there needs to be changes. But the point is, week in, week out, whatever he's put out on the pitch hasn't been good enough. And so you can talk about what's happening in the boardroom, you can talk about what's happening with supporters on the pitch, but the players, when they've gone out and played, they haven't looked sharp, they haven't looked bright, and it's down to David Moyes.
But he's a talented manager. We saw what he did at Everton.
Well, he is a talented manager, and I think that plays a part, Manish. We want him to succeed in this country. I can see where Socrates is coming from, but we so badly want him to succeed. A British manager in charge of one of England's heavyweight clubs, and it doesn't happen too often.
No.
We're in a day and age when so many foreign managers are coming in at the expense of maybe some talented boys in the Championship and below who aren't getting the chance in the way that they would have beforehand. But Manchester United, an iconic club worldwide, employs a Scotsman very well known in this country who certainly served his apprenticeship at Everton, did everything you could ask of him and deserves a chance. So I think as a country we do want him to succeed, and that's maybe why he's got a little bit of leeway.
Absolutely, but the point that Socrates is trying to make is that it's been in his favour being British, because if you looked at his record as a foreign manager, he would never have got the job. He would never have got the Man United job in the first place. No. He's not won anything at Everton. He's done a good job at Everton. He's never won anything. He's not really got Everton to any finals. He's not threatening to win anything. Because he's British, he's got the job. He needs to be measured along the same lines as anybody else. And to come in and say, look, I've got a rebuilding job to do, that's why we're 7th and miles away from winning the Premier League, is nowhere near good enough. We thought that they would drop. I thought they'd finish 4th, and that would be a big enough drop, and that would be acceptable. Finishing outside the Champions League spot and the performances, the way they perform, isn't good enough, and somebody's got to be culpable.
Well, I suppose I've got a hint as to what Socrates feels. So what would you do if you're in charge at Manchester United between now and the end of the season? Would you ask for a change now with just a handful of games remaining?
100%. I think he is not the man for the job. Keeping him there longer is completely the wrong decision. Morale will just keep falling. The players clearly don't want to play for him. And I agree fully with what you're saying, but we should never have got the job in the first place. People say we earned his dues at Everton. Everton have never ever been renowned for playing good football. All of a sudden, what's made it even worse, Martinez has gone there and they're playing attractive football and in the best position they've been in 12 years, ever since David Moyes has been there. So I think what needs to happen is David Moyes needs to get the sack, if not resign. He has to be replaced by Ryan Giggs, Gary Neville, whatever the case is, until the end of the season. People that are legends to the club, the rest of the players will play for and respect, and then you reassess the situation in the summer. A man like Jurgen Klopp is the ideal candidate for the job. And if not, then you do what Liverpool did in the 80s and promote from within. You know, the Butron's mentality where people are familiar with the style of the club. Moyes comes in and says, it takes time to change things. Why change everything? You took over the champions. You had to adapt to the club, not the other way around. We have played disgusting, terrible football the entire season, not scoring goals. I mean, Liverpool scored more goals, I think, than our entire team, or something close to that, in absolute disgrace to the level of football that Manchester United is producing. So get rid of him, get Ryan Giggs, or someone that knows everything else the club, get Phelan Middleton back. You'll see a lift in the players, a lift in morale, and maybe that's why we can pull off the miraculous victory in the Champions League with a fighting spirit like Chelsea did when Di Matteo took over from ABB. That's the only way forward. And giving him money to spend, like Gary Neville said, you can't just throw ingredients into a soup, you don't know what's wrong with it. You know, you spent 27 million on Fellaini and 42 million on Mata. And what has he got out of it? So he spent 60 million pounds. You want to give him another 40 million? What's he going to do with it?
Well, I was going to say, Socrates, I mean, you've got the programme off to an absolute fly. You made some terrific points as our first caller on the programme. I mean, obviously, with Alex Ferguson, all the successes brought at Old Trafford, of course, you would barely go against what his beliefs are. And of course, it was Sir Alex Ferguson who recommended David Moyes for the job in the first place.
Yeah, and you're going to accept that recommendation, aren't you? If you're the Glazers over in America. Yeah. Bobby Charlton, Sir Bobby Charlton as well, putting his weight behind the appointment. But at the end of the day, I don't think Sir Alex or Sir Bobby will have a say as to whether he stays or not. I think, you know, the Glazers will take a cold hard look at it from the financial aspects as much as anything else. If they feel it's not working out, David Moyes will go. I don't think he'll go before the summer. I think he will be allowed that transfer window, and they'll take it from there.
Interesting also suggestion from Socrates in terms of bringing in the likes of Ryan Giggs and Gary Neville between now and the end of the season. No doubt it will prompt more texts and emails to you, Leroy. What have you got for us at the minute?
I've got one there.